Hello everyone, my name is Kirti and I am an assistant professor in ITM. Today I am here to talk about the subject that is business law, and I am going to cover what is business law, introduction to Indian Contract Act 1872, objective of the act, present contract act and types of contract. What is business law? As you can see, it comprises two words, business plus law. Business is a commercial activity in which buying and selling has been take place, and law means rules and regulations. When the two words combines, it represents the rules and regulations applicable on the businesses, or we can say business law establish the rules that all businesses should follow. It comprises lot of acts like Indian Contract Act, Sale of Good Act, Partnership Laws, Negotiable Instrument Act, Information Technology Act. We'll discuss it later on. So first we are going to start with the Indian Contract Act 1872. The objective of the act is to ensure that the rights and obligations arising out of a contract are honored and that legal remedies are made available to an aggrieved party against the party failing to honor his part of agreement. The Indian Contract Act makes it obligatory that this is done and compels the defaulters to honor his commitments. So there is two or more parties in which the contract has been take place. Now every party has the responsibility to fulfill their obligations. If the one party fail to honor his obligation, the other party become the aggrieved party, and the aggrieved party has the rights to compel the defaulters to honor their commitments. That all has to be explained by the Indian Contract Act 1872. Previously, it is not applicable to G&K, but now Article 370 has been removed. It extends to whole of India. It came into force on the 1st day of September 1872. Present Contract Act contains basic principle of contract, indemnity and guarantee, bailment and agency. So it's covered the section 1 to section 238. Now what is contract? Contract is an agreement creating and defining obligations between the parties. Contract is basically agreement plus enforceable by law. Enforceable by law means when the contract has been take place between the two parties, and if it creates a legal obligation, it means it is enforceable by law. And now what is agreement? Before going to the agreement, you have to know certain terms. First of all, what is offer? Offer means when one person signifies to another his willingness to do or abstain from doing anything with a view to obtain his assent on such an act. On abstinence, he is making proposal. Offer means when you make a proposal to someone to do something for them, right? That is offer. आप किसी को offer represent करते हो, proposal represent करते हो कि मैं आपको ये दूंगा, ठीक है. If somebody accepts your offer, that is called acceptance. When one person signifies his assent thereto on the proposal made, he is said to accept the proposal. Now promise, offer plus acceptance becomes the promise, right? And these promise become the agreement. For example, X offers to sell laptop to Y for rupees 30,000. Y accept this offer. This offer after acceptance become promise, and this promise is known as agreement between X and Y. Consideration means something is returned. Okay, A offers B to sell his car at rupees 1 lakh. B accepts the offer. Now A consideration is 1 lakh rupees and B consideration is a car. Until and unless there is no consideration, there cannot be a valid contract. ठीक है, जब तक कंसिडरेशन नहीं होगा तब तक, चाहे वो 1 रुपये का क्यों ना हो, जब तक कंसिडरेशन नहीं होगा, ठीक है. ए ने ऑफर किया बी को कि आप 1 लाख रुपये से मेरी कार खरीद लो. बी ने ऑफर एक्सेप्ट किया, तो बी के लिए कंसिडरेशन ए की कार होगी और ए के लिए कंसिडरेशन 1 लाख रुपीज़ होंगे. तो कंसिडरेशन इज मैंडेटरी वाइल मेकिंग अ वैलिड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. दिस इज वन ऑफ द एलिमेंट ऑफ ए वैलिड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. Agreement, when the proposal is accepted, it becomes a promise, and the promise when accompanied with consideration is called an agreement, right? A offers to sell his car for rupees 1 lakh to B. B accepts this offer. This offer after acceptance become promise, and this promise is treated as an agreement between A and B. Enforceability. An agreement is said to be enforceable by law if it creates a legal obligations then it is an enforceable by law, and that agreement plus enforceability become the contract. For example, A promises to sell his car B for rupees 1 lakh received by him as the price of the car. This agreement gives rise to an obligation on the part of A to deliver the car to B. This agreement is a contract. All contracts are agreement, but all agreements are not contract. Agreement becomes a contract when it is enforceable by law. If it is not enforceable by law, the agreement cannot become the contract. Agreement of moral, religious or social nature are not contract, right? Parties never intend to create a legal obligations. For example, X invites his friend to a dinner and Y accepts the invitation. If Y fails to turn up for the dinner, can he take his friend to the court? अब X ने इनवाइट किया Y को डिनर के लिए, Y ने इनविटेशन एक्सेप्ट कर लिया. अगर Y नहीं आ पाता किसी कारण से, तो क्या X जो है स्यू कर सकता है Y को? नो. It is a part of social nature. How can X sue to Y, right? Second example लिखे, a father promises to pay his daughter rupees 1000 as pocket allowance. Later he refuses to pay. Can the daughter recover the amount? See, this is an agreement of domestic nature. So how the daughter can sue to his father, right? So there is no creation of legal relations. Now types of contract. Contract can be classified according to the creation or formation, extent of execution or performance, validity or enforceability. According to the creation or formation, the contract has been divided into 4 parts: express contract, implied contract, constructive or quasi-contract, or e-contract. Number 1 is express contract, where the terms of the contract has been expressed either verbally or written form. That is called express contract. Second is implied contract. Implied contract means that is to do the conduct of the parties. It is inferred from the acts or conduct of the parties or the basis of the circumstances of the cases. That is called implied contract. For example, A को Delhi जाना है, A get into the public bus, right? So that is an implied contract. Next is quasi contract. Quasi contract is created by law. ठीक है? There are no intention of the parties to enter in the contract, but there is some circumstances has been take place. There is a contract between the two parties. For example, X delivers a birthday gift to Y at a wrong address of Y. Y is under obligation either to pay for it or return to the X. ठीक है? X का कोई इरादा नहीं था कि Y को गिफ्ट डिलीवर कर दे, बट वो बाय मिस्टेक Y को गिफ्ट चला गया. तो Y की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि या तो वो गिफ्ट को रिटर्न कर दे, बट अगर उसने गिफ्ट ले लिया है तो Y की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होगी कि वो X को पे करे. E-contract is formed in the course of e-commerce by the interaction of 2 or more individuals using electronic means such as email. Next, basis on the execution or performance, in which the contract has been divided into 5 parts. Executed contract, executory contract, partly executed and partly executory contract, unilateral contract and bilateral contract. Executed contract is one in which both the parties have performed their respective obligations under the contract. दोनों ने पार्टी ने अपने अपने पार्ट फुलफिल कर दी हैं. That is called executed contract. For example, X offered to sell his bike to Y for rupees 80,000. Y accept this offer. Both the parties to the contract perform their respective obligations. It is an executed contract. Now, executory contract. Executory contract means where both the parties of the contract have still to perform their respective obligations. For example, X offers to sell his bike to Y for rupees 90,000. Y accept the offer. If X has to deliver the bike to Y, Y has also not paid the price to X. It is an executory contract. यहाँ पर X ने Y को अपनी बाइक सेल करने की, अभी X ने ना तो बाइक डिलीवर की है, X ने बाइक ना तो डिलीवर की है Y को, ना ही Y ने X को पेमेंट की है. तो दैट इज एन एग्जीक्यूटरी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वेयर बोथ द पार्टीज हैव टू परफॉर्म देयर रिस्पेक्टिव ऑब्लिगेशंस. नेक्स्ट इज पार्टली एग्जीक्यूटेड एंड पार्टली एग्जीक्यूटरी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, जहाँ पर एक पार्टी अपने पार्ट को फुलफिल कर दे और सेकेंड पार्टी का जो पार्ट है वो भी पेंडिंग है. दैट इज कॉल्ड पार्टली एग्जीक्यूटेड एंड पार्टली एग्जीक्यूटरी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. For example, X sell his cell phone to Y. X delivered the cell phone, but Y has yet to pay the price. For X it is an executed and for Y it is an executory contract. Then unilateral contract. Unilateral contract is a contract where one party performed his part of obligations and the other party obligations is outstanding. It is also known as one-sided contract. ठीक है? For example, Tom promises to pay 5,000 to anyone who finds his lost bike. Harry finds and restores the same to Tom. The contract came into existence from the time when the Harry found the bike. Now Tom has to execute his promise by paying 5,000 to Harry. यूनिलेटरल मतलब जहाँ एक पार्टी अपना कॉन्ट्रैक्ट पार्ट ऑफ ऑब्लिगेशन कंप्लीट कर चुकी है, बट जो सेकंड पार्टी है, ठीक है, सेकंड पार्टी जो है उसको वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट तब फुलफिल करना है जब वन पार्टी अपना पार्ट ऑफ ऑब्लिगेशन कंप्लीट कर चुकी है. तो दैट इज अ लिटिल डिफरेंस बिटवीन यूनिलेटरल एंड पार्टली एग्जीक्यूटिव एंड पार्टली एग्जीक्यूटरी. जब दोनों पार्टीज को पता है कि हमें अपने पार्ट फुलफिल करने हैं, बट यहाँ पर एक पार्टी फुलफिल करेगी तभी सेकंड पार्टी फुलफिल करेगी. दैट इज यूनिलेटरल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. Next is bilateral contract, that is also called reciprocal contract, a contract in which known as bilateral contract where both the parties to the contract have to perform their respective obligations. It is also known as two-sided contract as the obligation is outstanding on the part of both the parties. Right? For example, X agree with Y to sell his certain flat at a certain price at a certain date. Here, at the time of formation of the contract, the obligation of both the parties are outstanding. Therefore, the contract is bilateral. Bilateral contract जब दोनों parties को अपने अपने part perform करने हैं futures में, ठीक है, that is called bilateral contract. Now, basis on validity or enforceability, the contract has been divided into 4 parts: valid contract, void contract, voidable contract, and illegal contract. Valid contract which satisfy all the essential under section 10. ठीक है, जिसमें ऑफर एंड एक्सेप्टेंस आएगा, आपका मिनिमम पार्टीज रिक्वायरमेंट आएगी, प्रोमिसेस आएंगे, राइट, एक्सेप्टेंस आएगा. दैट इज द एसेंशियल ऑफ वैलिड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कि एक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट को बनने के लिए क्या क्या वैलिड एसेंशियल्स होने चाहिए. वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट सेक्शन 10 में रिप्रेजेंट है. अगर वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट फुलफिल होते हैं, दैट इज कॉल्ड वैलिड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. वाइड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एग्रीमेंट विच इज नॉट एनफोर्सेबल बाय लॉ, दैट इज कॉल्ड वाइड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. बिकॉज कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नहीं होगा यहाँ पे, एग्रीमेंट होगा, क्योंकि वो तो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट तो तब होगा व्हेन इट इज एनफोर्सेबल बाय लॉ. तो वी कैन नॉट से इट इज एन वाइड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, इट इज एन वाइड एग्रीमेंट, ठीक है, विच इज वाइड एब इनिशियो. वाइड एब इनिशियो मीन्स जो स्टार्टिंग से ही अनएनफोर्सेबल है. नेक्स्ट इज वाइड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. According to section 2 of Indian contract, a void contract is a contract which ceases to be enforceable by law. ठीक है, वाइड एग्रीमेंट क्या हुआ कि जो स्टार्टिंग से वाइड एब इनिशियो, जो स्टार्टिंग से अनएनफोर्सेबल है. फॉर एग्जांपल, मैं कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कर रही हूँ कि मुझे ड्रग्स का बिजनेस करना है. हाउ द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हैज बीन एप्लीकेबल इन दिस बिजनेस. मुझे ड्रग्स का, ए ने कहा मुझे बी के साथ ड्रग्स का बिजनेस करना है, दैट इज नॉट एनफोर्सेबल बाय लॉ. बट वाइड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मीन्स जहाँ पे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हो चुका है, बट ड्यू टू इम्पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ द परफॉर्मेंस लाइक डेथ ऑफ द पर्सन, चेंज ऑफ लॉ और आउटब्रेक ऑफ वॉर, वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एप्लीकेबल नहीं हो सकता. दैट इज वाइड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. वॉइडेबल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मीन्स voidable contract is one which is enforceable by law at the option of one or more of the parties thereto, but not at the option of the parties. voidable contract क्या होता है, जहाँ पर एक पार्टी अपना ऑब्लिगेशन फुलफिल करने के लिए रेडी है, बट सेकेंड पार्टी डिनाई कर देती है कि वो अपना पार्ट ऑफ ऑब्लिगेशन कंप्लीट नहीं करेगी, क्योंकि उसका पार्ट ऑफ ऑब्लिगेशन जो कंसेंट है वो फ्री नहीं है. ठीक है, फ्री नहीं है, माइट बी अंडू इन्फ्लुएंस के कारण या कोअर्जन के कारण, जबरदस्ती के कारण उसे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करवाया गया है. तो दैट इज कॉल्ड voidable contract. Next is illegal contract. Illegal contract means which is unlawful. ठीक है, जो मैंने आपको कहा कि मुझे ड्रग्स का बिजनेस करना है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल एक्स लेट हिज हाउस फॉर गैम्बलिंग पर्पजेज टू वाई, सो इट इज एन इलीगल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट विच इज void ab initio. Unenforceable contract, it is a contract which is actually valid but not enforced because of the presence of some technical default. ठीक है, might be some writing or understamped, so it is unenforceable contract, right? So these are the types of contract. So that is all for today. Thank you so much.